Hello everyone，大家好啊！我係英國教育園嘅 Melissa，今日咧好開心啊，請到一位咧 Eton 嘅高材生嚟同我哋一齊分享一下喺名校讀書，同埋分享一下喺GCSE 考試嘅心得喎。喺開始之前咧，想同大家家長講下咧，暫時今日咧係2021年7月7號喺英國嘅疫情咧，其實係比之前係嚴重咗少少嘅，咁譬如而家好多劍橋嘅學校咧，其實都係有 bubble，咁如果其中有一班同學佢係感染咗嘅話咧，咁成班咧就要留喺屋企度10日，咁呢個暫時好多學校都有咁嘅情況出現，所以最近都有好多家長求助啦，問下可以點算，特別係讀私立學校嘅，咁我哋都有幫啲學生咧，佢哋去揾地方揾 host family 去住啦，所以如果可以幫到你嘅話咧，不妨都俾個電話俾我哋嘅。咁咧今日咧好開心請到 Alex 上嚟啦。Alex，can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, my name is Alex. I go to Eton College. I just finished my GCSEs at the end of last year, and I'm going to be studying my A-levels next year.
Fantastic. Alex, can you tell us a little bit more about Eton?
Okay, so I'll go into my presentation.
其中一間最好嘅私立學校啦，好多人都會知道啦。
So Eton was founded in 1440 by King Henry VI. It's full boarding for boys in year 9 to 13, so you'll do your GCSEs and A-levels there. And unlike many of the other schools now, Eton is full boarding, so other schools may have day boys or weekly boarders, whereas we have to stay there at all times, and we're only allowed to leave at designated weekends or holidays. There are 250 boys per year, and these boys are split into 25 boarding houses. So there are roughly 10 boys per year per house. And there are two main figures of authority in each house. There's a housemaster and a dame. The housemaster is largely responsible for overseeing each boy's academic progress and their pastoral care, whereas the dame is responsible for generally the everyday well-being of the boys. And I'll just go through a typical day at Eton. So Eton, the school year is split into 3 terms, which in Eton we call halves. So there's the Michaelmas half, which is basically the winter term. There's the Lent half, which is the spring term, and finally there's the summer half, which is the final summer term. Every day we have between 4 to 7 lessons a day, which at Eton we call divs. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we have 7 of these. On Tuesday and Thursday we have 5 to accommodate sports in the afternoon, and on Saturday we have 4 in order to catch up on the missed lessons on Tuesday and Thursday. And before every day we have chapel. So even if you're non-religious, you have to still attend chapel. However, if you're of a different faith or a different religion, the school will organize faith and religion classes for you. So you're sort of with the people that follow the same religion as you. A big part of the school day is sports, which we do pretty much every day for a long time. The sports are split into major and minor sports. So everyone has to do a major sports, which consists usually of football, rugby, rowing, cricket, tennis, and hockey, and also the field game, which is, I'll go on to it later.
What is your major sports?
So you have to do a different sport in each term. So in Michaelmas, I'll do football, and in Lent, I'll do field game and rowing. And in summer I'll do rowing as well, but throughout the whole year I'll be playing basketball because that's sort of my main sport, which is another good thing about Eton, where you could choose anything to do really and just become really good at it. So say you enjoy, I don't know, you're really good at tennis or something, you can do tennis all year round and you'll be trained to a really high level. And to the academic side of Eton, we're put into sets, so any boy at Eton can study at the level and he can study to basically his full capacity. And each boy is allocated a tutor who oversees academic progress, which is similar to what the housemaster does, but this you meet with your tutor every week, and you're also with a tutorial group, so you get to know those boys very well. And I think it's a very important part of life at Eton. And at the end of the Michaelmas and summer half, if you're not doing GCSEs or A levels, you'll have exams, and which we call trials. So that basically puts you into your sets for next year, and it just shows you how well you've done over the year so far. And I'll just go through some other things that are also on offer at Eton. So Eton's a school with quite a lot of unique sports and activities. So as I mentioned earlier, we have the field game, which is a sport that's played only at Eton. It's sort of a mix between football and rugby, and it's a really fun game, which you play in the Lent half. There's also a tradition where every year there's a sport called the wall game, which is played along a wall in Eton, which is basically a rugby scrum, and you have to get the ball to the other side of the wall. It's quite an interesting game, and it's very unique to Eton. So yeah, it's really good. And the other good thing about Eton is that there's a really wide range of co-curricular activities, most notably the Societies program, where many notable and famous speakers come and speak to the boys. For example, last year we had F.W. de Klerk come in, who is the ex-president of South Africa, and who's also won a Nobel Peace Prize.
Wow.
And the former Chancellor of UK and the former Governor of the Bank of England also came in and gave us talks, which were all really interesting. That's something that I think if you go to Eton, it's something that you should take advantage of and attend as many of those as you can.
It's such a unique experience to meet the top people in the world.
Yeah, it's really good, and you learn a lot from them. And music also plays a big part in Eton. There are many orchestras, chamber orchestras, which you can join. And I'm part of the symphony orchestra. And I've only been in it this year. And over my year in it, it's been a really, really good experience. You get to know all the people around you really well. And it's just a really good experience in general.
Great.
And finally, the arguably probably the biggest part of Eton is the house competitions. House spirit is something that we regard really highly, and each house is good at their own thing. So the house that I'm in is quite sporty, so we win quite a lot of the sporting competitions, and it's just having sort of the pride that your house is good at something. It's just a really nice feeling, and it's something that's integral to what Eton's about, really.
Great.
So now I'll move away from Eton slightly, and I'll come to how I prepared for my GCSEs. So I think there are 4 big things which really help you to do better in exams, and well, GCSEs in particular, which are, firstly, you have to understand the syllabus really well and understand sort of the board of the exam board that you're taking, how many papers you're doing, whether there's an oral or not, listening. You have to understand that really well. You have to understand the specification points of the syllabus itself in order to sort of be able to take good notes, which is also really important. In every lesson that I was in personally, I was trying my best to take notes. And if you don't understand something after a lesson, just ask either your teacher or your peers, and they'll help clarify. But if you still don't really understand, a really good website that we used was savemyexams.co.uk. They have many past papers, topic questions, revision notes, and guides for the science subjects and maths, which we found was really, really useful and helped us a lot.
So you mainly use this website. Have you used Seneca?
I think we used it a little bit in one of our in computer science, maybe.
I see. That is another good one as well.
Yeah, it was quite good. If you're around your peers, another good thing to do to prepare for GCSEs or any other exam is to test each other.
Mhm.
So that allows you to maximize sort of your memorization ability, and it's also quite fun. So you don't feel like the revision's boring or anything. You're still having decent amount of fun while being able to memorize what you need to know. And finally, what I think is probably the most important thing is to do past papers.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah. So past papers help you a lot with understanding how the questions are written, understanding how the mark schemes are written. So once you do lots of them, you can just nail each type of question, and then you'll be really solid with your understanding, and you should be able to do really well in your exams.
Mm-hmm.
And just some additional tips for studying in general for any exam, really. I'd say focus on the hard stuff, because if you focus on what you know, you'll still know that after you revise. But then if you focus on the stuff you don't know, you have at least a chance of knowing that stuff, and you'll end up knowing everything better, which is it's much more time efficient, and it's just a better use of your time, which leads me on to my next point of using time wisely. By planning what you're going to do, you'll be able to use time much more efficiently, and you won't procrastinate or waste any time, which also helps you with your revision and allows you to do things other than revise. Because if you revise all the time, there's a chance that you may be burnt out by the end, and that's something that you want to avoid. You want to have sort of a smooth revision plan, so you end up doing your best in your exam.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's it for now.
Do you have a particular software that you've been using for your time management? For example, I got students using Google Calendar. Some of them use Team to put all diaries.
I just wrote out a timetable for myself and said yeah.
Wow.
So I just did one every week. So depending on what I felt I needed to work on, just say I needed to work on maths, I just put 2 hours for maths on Thursday or something, and just work like that.
In general, every day, Monday to Friday, how many hours have you spending on studying your GCSEs? Do you spend 5 hours?
I'd say starting from around Christmas, maybe 3 hours, and then during Easter, I started revising more, so maybe 5 hours ish. Because I think you need to each person's different, and I think you need to find sort of that time that works for you. Some people can just revise for 8 hours straight and be fine, whereas some people, after they revise for like 2-3 hours, they lose focus. And if you're like that, you may as well just revise for 2 or 3 hours, because if you do more, that stuff's just, you won't understand it, you won't remember it. So you need to just find the time that's good for you, which for me was about 5 hours ish.
So far, what makes you enjoy most studying at Eton, which is one of the best schools in England?
I think it's just the sort of overall experience that you get. The people you meet are all really good. The education you get is excellent, and everything else that they offer pretty much anything you can think of, you can do there, do to the best of your ability, which I think is something that I value a lot.
I see. And do you have one particular day you enjoyed most so far at Eton? Can you share with us?
One particular day. I mean, on the non-academic side, there's one day every year which is sort of like a celebration. It's called the 4th of June, although it's not on the 4th of June. The date changes every year, which is just before you go into exams, and it's basically celebrating the people in year 13 who are just about to leave, and the whole school comes together and for the whole day and sort of just hangs around. It's really nice.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alex, for all your sharing. 今日好開心啦，有 Alex 上嚟同我哋分享一下佢喺英國名校讀書嘅經驗啦。咁啦，我哋英國教育園咧，其實一路都有幫好多嘅海外嘅學生考入最頂尖嘅學校，包括 Eton 啊、Harrow 啊，或者下星期咧，如果你哋有時間嘅話咧，同樣時間我哋會請到倫敦一間非常之好學校嘅入學主任同我哋講一講。咁呢間學校就喺 Kensington 嘅。喺倫敦其中一個最好嘅區啦 ，Kensington Park School。咁我哋都有學生喺入邊度讀緊書嘅，所以如果我哋可以幫到你，我哋其實係收顧問費嘅。如果我哋可以幫到你嘅話咧，不妨 send 個 email 俾我哋，睇下我哋點樣可以幫你嘅小朋友可以入到最好嘅學校。我覺得最名嘅學校未必係最適合小朋友嘅，但係我哋會睇下即係 overall 去 assess 個小朋友嘅成績啦，同埋佢中唔中意運動啊，或者好似 Alex 所講，佢覺得喺 Eton 係非常之好，因為俾咗一個 all-round 嘅 experience 俾 Alex， 包括係體育啦、music 啦，同埋讀書啦，咁全部都好好嘅。咁所以今日好多謝 Alex 同我哋分享啦。嗱，提一提大家，如果大家想入 Eton 嘅話咧，其實就要早啲準備啦，即係早3-4年前就已經要準備。因為呢間學校佢有個 admission process， 即係佢個入學嘅程序咧係要真係早啲去開始嘅。好啦，咁我今日大家咧就講住咁多。最近有好多家長咧問緊暑期班嘅嘢，咁即係因為有啲學生佢哋飛翻唔到香港啦，咁要喺英國度滯留住，咁就想揾一啲暑期班嘅。咁呢度啦，我哋都可以幫到你嘅，所以不妨俾一個 email 俾我哋，睇下我哋點樣可以幫到你，好唔好啊？今日就好唔該晒 Alex 啦，希望我哋下次有機會，或者我有啲學生如果想考 Eton 嘅話咧，都可以安排 Alex 幫手分享一下嘅，即係同你 one to one 喺我哋個 team system 入面一齊分享嘅。好，我哋下次見，拜拜。Goodbye everyone. Bye bye Alex. Thank you so much.
Sorry.